Check the Georgetown and Burpees Bridge schedules. Activate a roaming plan. Play Shake to win for cool prizes. So don't worry about a data plan, buddy. Download the My Digicel app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store today. Digicel, better together.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good day, my name is Amrita Koshal and this is your main newscast. In the headlines, Budget 2022 is $476,000 debt for each Guyanese family, says Shadow Finance Minister. Over 6,000 barrels of crude, that should be, spilled in Ecuador Amazon. Minor drowns after canoe sinks in Mazaruni River. Man and girlfriend killed during high-speed police chase. Government unashamed. Budget supports private sector, says Minister Indar. Meanwhile, a body of a man was found at Frislust. $30 billion plugged into Gaisuku since 2020, despite 34.7% decline. And ExxonMobil boasts of closing 2021 with highest profit in 7 years, but continues to deny Guyana full coverage insurance. Stay tuned for more details.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
A high-speed police chase on Wednesday ended in tragedy after a multi-vehicle smash-up claimed the lives of a 21-year-old man identified as Christopher Bagwandat of Monoripo and his 16-year-old girlfriend Sharida Pasad of Bath Settlement. They were on their way to celebrate his mother's birthday. The collision reportedly occurred sometime around 11 hours at the Mahaika Bridge, located on the east coast of Demerara. According to reports, Bagwandat had left his home earlier that morning in his Toyota Allion to pick up his girlfriend. East Coast Police Commander Kali Parashram said that ranks from the Region 5 district were conducting a traffic operation in Maikoni and had stopped Bagwandat's car at their roadblock along the New Zealand public road. Bagwandat had pulled over his car to the side of the road, but as one of the ranks approached, he suddenly drove off. Surveillance camera from a nearby business place recorded the exact moment when the vehicles collided. As it relates to what caused the now-dead Bagwandat to drive away from the cops, investigators may never be able to find out because nothing illegal was found in his car. Moving on, members of the political opposition have, from day one of the budget debates for this year, lamented what they contend is a policy document of spending aimed at benefiting only the private sector and not the working and poorer class of people in the country. Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Deodat Indar, in response, is adamant that the administration has no shame, regrets, or need to distance itself from the private sector with regard to its budget policies. According to Minister Indar, the private sector employs 65% of the working population, and non-government organizations account for the remainder of employment figures. Qualifying his position further, the minister pointed to the revenue stream of the government, such as income taxes, which account for some $89 billion from the private sector. He also argued that billions were allocated for sectors such as health, education, housing infrastructure, and other social services, and that their objectives are all to benefit the working and poorer class of people. We now tell you that opposition Member of Parliament Vince Roy Jordan added his voice to the budget debates for 2022, which continued yesterday at the Arthur Chung Conference Centre, and was vehement that the failure to reopen any of the estates, quote-unquote, is not only a failed promise, but an unrealistic venture. The ailing Gaisuku, which he described as an unprofitable, poorly managed entity, has over the years seen a continuous decline in performance in terms of production, but has seen billions of dollars from the nation's coffers being annually plugged into the industry. To this end, he pointed out to the House that there was just over 80,000 metric tons of sugar in 2020, and this represents a 34.7% decline in the performance of the industry over the years. Moving on, during its 2021 fourth quarter earnings call, American oil giant ExxonMobil proudly disclosed that it made $23 billion in profits, its highest posting in 7 years. But even as it continues to make billions of dollars in revenue, it continues to deny Guyana a key asset in its portfolio, its fundamental right to full coverage insurance. Currently, the Liza Destiny vessel is operating in the absence of full coverage insurance, and despite numerous calls from local and regional actors, neither the government nor ExxonMobil have made any effort to give Guyana full coverage insurance to protect its environs and citizens from the irreversible and devastating effects of a potential oil spill. Moving on, opposition Shadow Finance Minister Juritha Finance revealed on day 3 of the budget debates that the national budget of 2022 represents a debt burden of $476,000 on the shoulders of each Guyanese family, even as $600,000 per family is being withdrawn from the Natural Resources Fund. And as such, the document was given a failing grade by the opposition for a third time, due to several missed targets, according to Finance, based on Dr. Ashni Singh's own admission that for the third straight budget cycle, the government has failed to meet any of its targets with regards to the non-oil economy of Guyana, economic growth rates, sectoral performance, or inflation. Time check for you, 12 hours 9. We will return with more news for you shortly after the break. And now back with more news in detail. A rock fall following rains in the Piedra Fina zone caused a part of the OCP heavy crude pipeline to split late on Friday, causing an oil spill within a protected area of the country's Amazon rainforest, affecting flora and fauna in the region, authorities said. The pipeline operator will face legal consequences. The government has started legal and administrative actions against OCP Ecuador, adding it has requested the company to carry out a detailed investigation to measure the spill's impact. Moving on, a minor identified as 19-year-old Ronaldo Rampersad reportedly drowned on Tuesday after the canoe in which he and another colleague were traveling in sank in the Mazaruni River in Region 7. According to police, the canoe sank sometime around 16 hours between a place called Lulu Island Point and Banana Landing in Middle Mazaruni. The two worked on a land dredge and had paddled to a nearby shop around 15 hours to purchase some items for their mining camp. However, as they were returning, the canoe began taking in water and eventually sank. A search party was launched and Rampersaud's lifeless body was fished out of the river by his brother. And we now tell you that a body of an unidentified naked man was discovered yesterday lying in the grass on a dam beside the Vryslust main road on the east coast of Demerara. Passers-by, sometime after 14 hours, reportedly noticed the individual, who they said was homeless, lying still and unresponsive, and they decided to summon police. An ambulance with paramedics on board also visited the scene and officially pronounced the individual dead. Investigations are ongoing. And now time for your COVID-19 update. A total of 5 persons from Region 4 who contracted COVID-19 have died over a 2-day period. The fatalities are that of an 81-year-old man and 4 women, a 41-year-old, a 63-year-old, an 80-year-old, and an 86-year-old. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 1,176. 276 new infections were recorded, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 60,385. 12 patients are in the ICU, 84 persons are in institutional isolation, 8,399 are in home isolation, and 17 are in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 50,614 persons have recovered from the virus. We now turn your attention to page 7 of the Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. We remind our fellow Guyanese, please do not take the dwindling COVID-19 numbers for granted. People are still dying daily. If we all accept death by COVID-19 as our fate, what will be the point of fighting for our patrimony? Guyanese, it is imperative that we remain safe if we hope to see a better Guyana. My name is Amrita Koshal, and this was your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.